Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Miss Marcy, and this is my review on 2018's Movie of the Year. I'm already claiming it. I already know that's what it's going to be. None other than Marvel's Black Panther. So let's get into it. I had to get on here and do it. I had to get on here and give my review and my thoughts about this movie. This movie was nothing short of excellent. You hear me? This movie was the shit, honey. And don't let nobody tell you anything different. Marvel makes good movies anyway, period. But I've never seen so much energy around a movie like I've seen with this Black Panther movie. I've never seen it. And I feel like the movie lived up to its hype. I feel like the movie deserves every piece of recognition, every piece of good energy that it's getting. I feel like all the characters in the movie, all the actors or whatever and actresses, they did very good. I feel like everybody deserves this movie deserves all of the feedback, all of the just all of the good feedback that it's getting. When I first saw the preview, I was actually interested just from the preview. I said, damn, that looks like that's going to be a good movie. So for me, it was a must see anyway. The cinematography was off the chain. Everything was, this was a beautiful movie. It was so pleasing to the eyes, and I was just like, man, this movie made me want to be in Wakanda. And hold up, wait a minute, y'all. Did y'all peep? Look, Wakanda's so popping. Daniel Kaluuya, honey, he done made his way from that sunken place and came on over to Wakanda, y'all. I don't know how many of y'all noticed that Wakabi is the guy from Get Out. This movie, I love the energy. Hell, I'm going to go see it again. And I'll go see it a third time if that's what my heart desires, I'm just so proud of everybody who was in this movie, everybody who had anything to do with this movie. I'm just so happy for everybody. Hell, this movie made me, I wish I was in the damn movie. You hear me? I wish I could have been a part of this movie. I would have loved to have been a part of something big like this. Big shout out to Ryan Coogler, who obviously had this vision and he brought it to, he just brought it to life. And it's just amazing. It's amazing. So now let me get into it. All right, what I want to say is what I like the most about this movie is there was a lot of hidden messages, and it really, to me, I felt like it could be applicable to a lot of people, especially like when the hidden messages to me were regarding family, culture, and media. And I'm going to get into that. But let me say this. First of all, I want to say Chadwick Boseman. Oh, my gosh. I already thought he was good when he played James Brown, honey, and Get On Up. He's been doing his thing. We saw him in Get On Up. We saw him in at Thurgood Marshall. We saw him do Jackie Robinson in 42. So he's been doing his thing. But man, I tell you, listen, if anybody didn't know who Chadwick Boseman was before this, they damn sure know who he is now. Same with Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan did a superb job in his role in Black Panther. But Michael B. Jordan been doing his thing. I saw him in The Wire, Fruitvale Station. He's been doing his thing. And these guys were already what I would say they were considered A-listers. But this role, this Black Panther, oh man, it's only going to continue going up for everybody in this movie. But these roles is going to take their careers over the top. Like, oh my gosh. And they're also calling the young lady who played Black Panther's young little sister, Cherie, played by Letitia Wright. They're calling her the breakout star, and rightfully so. I loved her character. I loved her role. And let me tell you why. I felt like her role was something that young girls need to see. We needed to see a young girl who was so technical. She was so techie. She was very, very technical savvy, and she wasn't, dressing a certain way. It was so much respect. I love the fact that in this movie, the women were well respected. The women held such high power, but they were well respected. On top of that, they respected the men. There was a mutual respect between women and men. And we are actually, I feel in society today, especially black men and women, we're losing that. But so I really love the fact that that was in that movie. You saw the women be submissive to the men. You saw them be submissive to the king. But at the same time, they understood their position as women, but they also held powerful, respected positions as well. So that speaks to me. That speaks to that misconcept that a woman has to be who has to lay down and be walked over like a doormat in order to be submissive to a man. And that's so not true. A woman can still be submissive, but still be powerful and still be respected. You see, so I love that. I love that those were the roles in that movie. And oh my gosh, what's her name? Denai Guerrera? I don't want to butcher her name, but she also plays in The Walking Dead. Oh my goodness, she was powerful. And let me tell y'all, one of my favorite scenes was when that rhinoceros was like charging at her, and then that thing just came to a halt. When he came in front of her, when that rhinoceros came in front of her, he came to a halt, honey, and it just licked her. To me, that represented that those women, the women of Wakanda, honey, they rule. They rule. They rule that place. You know, it's like, I don't know. It's just, I just loved it. And to me also, it represented, you know, when they say behind every great man is a great woman. And I feel like that movie displayed that as well. And one of the biggest messages that I got out of the movie was through Michael B. Jordan's character, Eric Killmonger. What I got out of that was the importance of family, the importance of knowing your family, knowing your roots, knowing where you come from. Because as we saw through his character, he was a bitter, lost soul. And he was a bitter, lost soul because he didn't know his people. He knew those were his people, but he didn't know them. He didn't know the ways of their culture. And that was all because of his father. It was his father's fault. His father never took him home to Wakanda. His father, who was also rebellious against the country and their ways. And it trickled on down to him. And I didn't know, speaking of his father, I did not know Sterling K. Brown was in this movie. I actually love him on This Is Us. So I didn't know he was in the movie. I was glad to see him when I saw him on the screen. I was like, oh my gosh, Randall's in the movie. So anyway, but yeah, so through Eric Killmonger, we saw how it is very important to stay connected to your family. And, you know, and in today's society, you have a lot of that. You have a lot of men who have, whether they got multiple children or whether they just, for whatever reason, they may have a child that's not connected to his family, his or her family, because of whatever relationship, the father may have with the mother, or just for whatever reasons, the child is not connected with that part of his DNA, his or her DNA. And I like that in the movie also, they show some pretty strong father figures. So this was all needed to see. And like I said, just even going back to the little sister's role, played by Letitia Wright, Cherie, I really loved her. I felt like, like I said, she was smart, she was cute, and she still had a down to earthness about her. And her and the Black Panther, they were brother and sister, so they still just had that brother and sister bond. I really enjoyed seeing that. And also, speaking of the women of Wakanda, the warriors, honey, oh my gosh, like when they did that little thing, when the men did the fight and they all stood to the side and they was doing that thing with their hands across their chest. Oh my gosh, I thought that was so cute. But yeah, so when the women, I also got the girl power, out of the movie. When the women got together, the people of the country stood together as one, period. And I love seeing that. But the women got together and it was like girl magic, girl power. I also love the fact that they inherited their African culture. You saw the natural hair. You know what I mean? You didn't see just all this stuff that we see today with us women. And I'm not knocking it, but I'm just saying the women in the movie, they really showed that they embraced their African culture. And I'm gonna tell you something else that I really liked the most out of everything was the fact that this was Wakanda. It was an African country, and it was a place in Africa. And y'all all know the myths about Africa is that they're poor, they're walking around half naked, starving, drinking from dirty water, and eating grass and living in huts and shit like that. That is so far from the truth. That is so far from the truth. That is a myth. Now, true, yes, Africa has their poor areas just like any other place, but there's a lot of riches in Africa as well. And I love that this movie showed that this was not only a rich country, but they were very very sophisticated in technology. And I love that. So it was just amazing. And also people liken Michael B. Jordan's character, Eric Killmonger, and the Black Panther to people have been liking them in the situation to that of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, basically saying how both wanted to help their country, but both had different ways of going about doing it. And I thought that was an interesting point. And then another thing I want to point out, did y'all notice how so at the beginning when the Black Panther had the first fight with M'Baka, remember when he got into a fight when he did the fight with him? And remember how the women, they were cheering him on and he won. But then when he fought his cousin, Eric Killmonger, he lost, because when the women were on the sidelines, instead of really cheering him on, they seemed like they had given in to defeat. So they wasn't really cheering him on like they were the first time, and he got thrown over. To me, that represented how women, you stand by your man and you encourage your man. You know what I'm saying? See, they were less encouraging the second fight because they had given in to defeat, because they were like, oh my gosh. So I just thought that was interesting too. So I think this movie, I think it brought a lot of beauty to the eyes of our young men and women, especially Black men and women. I think that it shows that, you can do more than be a basketball player, football player, a rapper, an entertainer. And I'm not knocking any of those professions. I'm not. But I'm just saying that our children, especially Black children, need to see that there's so much more that they can be. And it was good. And I know everybody's saying this, but it was good that they saw heroic figures that look like them. And I want to point out something else that people probably need to take notice of, because I've been seeing memes saying that Tyler Perry is feeling some type of jealousy towards, the numbers that Black Panther is making and the success of the movie. Actually, what people don't know is that some parts of Black Panther was actually filmed in Tyler Perry's studio in Atlanta. So y'all can kill that. Oh, and I want to mention this too. The words that Eric Killmonger spoke when he said to his cousin, Black Panther, bury me in the ocean with my ancestors who jumped from the ships because they knew that death was better than being in bondage. Whew. Oh my gosh. That did something to a lot of people. Child, like I said before, it is important to know your family, your people, because here he was. He could not. They didn't really respect him. It was like, okay, you us, but we don't really know you. So here you are trying to have a sense of entitlement. You feel like you're entitled to be the king, but really you just bitter. And you're feeling like we owe you something because you know of our riches, but you don't know the ways of our country. You don't know the ways of our land. You don't know the way we operate. You don't know the way we do things. We don't do things. We're not going to just expose all this technology to the world. We're going to keep it to ourselves to some extent, and we're going to expose it the way we see fit. You see what I'm saying? So that movie, I feel like there was a lot of deep messages in there. There really were. And did y'all catch that tea at the end? And when you go see it, if you haven't seen it, stay to the very, very, very freaking end. Do not get up and leave when the credits come on, because there's so much more. Well, there's a couple of more scenes after that. So one of the scenes was when the Black Panther went to go speak to the people, And something he said, and everybody know who this was towards, honey. When he said, the wise build bridges while the foolish build walls. When now we all know who that was towards. Catch that. All right, so that was pretty much my take on the movie. I loved it, and like I said, I'm going to see it again. It was just that good. And if you haven't seen it, go see it. And shout out to all the people who rented out movie theaters just so, they can have people come and see it, or just so they can have children go and see it. That was really, I thought that was dope, and I thought that was great for the culture, So shout out to everybody who did that. I wish I could afford to do something like that. But yeah, so. But like I said, the movie is amazing, and I just look for more to come from Ryan Coogler. He's an awesome writer. He's a great director, and I'm enjoying his work. This movie gave me, I don't know, it was just very inspiring. It was it was just a beautiful thing to see. So, y'all, that's it. I mean, that's all I pretty much had for y'all. If I left anything out, let me know. But let me know, what did you like about the movie? What did you like? Was it inspiring to you? Yeah, just let me know in the comments, y'all. All right. This has been Miss Marcy. Till next time. Peace.